You'd laugh if it was funny. You would. I've spent the last 2 days on the phone talking to robots, asking me to press this, press that. Doesn't understand a single voice activation I tell it from all these different agencies. Centrelink, council, like everyone you call. It's all this automated rubbish. It's rubbish. It's an absolute joke. It doesn't work. All it does is infuriates people. And then they wonder why when you finally get hold of a human being after half a day of stuffing around with it, you're in a bad mood. You wasted half a day fucking around with robots and pressing buttons to get to no avail, to get nowhere. It's ridiculous. Now I'm into it with the council because they don't want to pick me bins up because they're the wrong coloured bins. It's got the right rubbish in it. Well, I wasn't aware that the council doesn't do our rubbish anymore. Veolia does. So they've contracted it out to their mates. They privatised what we pay for a public service. They've privatised yet another public service. So what this is socialism turning into communism. It's exactly what it is. You go back and study your history in socialist regimes that turned communist. This is exactly how it happened. Exactly, to the letter, to the T. We're not. This is not a democracy. Don't kid yourself. We do not live in a democracy. It's a joke. If that's what you think, you need to go and slap yourself. This is not a democracy. It's not not even a socialist democracy. It's just straight up socialist turning communist with a dictatorial regime. You're told who to choose from. This kind of brings me to the Matrix, when you have to choose between the red pill and the blue pill. That's not a choice at all. You're given two choices. Are there more choices? No. Yes, there are. No pill. The no pill is the choice. No pill means you're choosing your own life, your own freedom. You're choosing to live free, not to be ruled by a red pill or a blue pill, by a Labor or Liberal. It's always Labor or Liberal. All these other ones, they're just thrown into mixed confusion to make you think you've got choice. We don't have any choice. We don't have, not a true democracy. You choose between this lying head and that lying head. They're all liars. I just found out today next door has been searched 4 times in a week without a warrant. 4 times. He's just trying to live his life and keep to himself. But he has a couple of kids living there that, the cops are a bit interested in because they used to be rat bags. And they're starting to settle down and the cops don't want to let them out of the system. Oh, there's money in them guys. There's money in those kids. That's all it is. They're starting to settle down. I used to have an issue with them. I actually quite like these kids now. They come and asked the other day to mow my lawns. What an absolute turnaround. I'm proud of them for that. I do. I feel like I went to sleep in 2020 and woke up in a nut house. It's being run by batshit crazy fucking idiots. Scumbags and idiots. Cops running around saying they got the right to force you to do anything that they deem necessary. What's that attitude? Come on. Well, you just can't make any sense out of anything. Here's another one. Family assistance. My family assistance for my 2 kids that I'm raising on my own with no support, no help from anybody, and I'm managing to do that quite all right if you leave me the hell alone. Family assistance has been cut. Guaranteed it's because my ex has got a job and child support isn't being passed on. So in order to get a payment, you have to get a payment. If they don't make that payment, personally, then you don't get that assistance. So your assistance is reliant on somebody who might have a problem with you or doesn't want to pay child support, paying the child support. Do you see the logic in that? I don't. I see it backwards logic. I see it inside out. I see it as a thing that makes you run around and chase your ass all day. And that's about it. They're running around with attitude against people calling themselves sovereign citizens. Well, The media made up that term. You're either sovereign or you're a citizen. A sovereign is a free man under God on God's earth. A citizen is a servant of the state or a servant of the city. It comes from the Roman times when a servant who got some privileges had to do whatever a legionnaire or a statesman or a senator told them to do. They had to go do it. They were basically supreme. They were supreme slaves. To put it in a nutshell, they were supreme being slaves. They were slaves with some rights. Some. Their rights, they got slightly better quarters to live in and slightly better food and slightly better robes to wear than the peasants, than the Hebrews, than the Jews, the real Jews. I'm not talking about the Zionists, I'm talking about the real Jews. That's look at what's going on in America. People stand up for themselves. Look at what's going on in England. People standing up for themselves. I'm not saying we should riot and carry on and go taking our anger out on people. The opposite. But we're going to get to a point where there'll be no other option if people don't just start saying no and stop participating in this rubbish. It's absolute bloody rubbish. It's garbage. It's rubbish. This is not the world we're supposed to live in. Slap yourself and wake up. This is not the world we're supposed to live in, where you have to ask permission for every little thing. There was things I was allowed to do as a child that I'm now not allowed to do as an adult, no matter what. You need a licence for it, or you're just blatantly not allowed to do it. Not allowed to build a tree house, not allowed to build a cubby house, not allowed to add a step to your house or put a ramp in for wheelchair access without the council say so. Who the hell died and made council God? Who anointed them as bloody Christs? Nobody. In fact, we voted against it twice. We voted against it twice. We had 2 referendums and we voted against it twice. So through the states under unlawful constitution and unlawful royal seal, it's not a royal seal at all, it's a government seal, they backdoored it through the states. Which they're going to do with the Voice. And the Voice is a United Nations agenda to take all the rights and land off the Aboriginals. Make no mistake, we're in for a real bad trot. And if we don't wake up soon, we're going to have a hell of a go turning it round. What do we want to live like rats in the sewer? Because that's where we're going. Do you want to live like a rat in the sewer, or do you want to give up every single unalienable right and let them and alienate them? Seriously, I'm not trying to stir up shit. It's just time that you woke up. Pull your head out of your asses. I went to a school where I had to recite the Lord's Prayer every day. We used to recite the Australian National Anthem, and we used to learn about the Constitution a little bit. Even though it was not the lawful Constitution, it was the one that Gulf Whitlam brought in, signed by the legal fiction, the watery tart from Lake Burley Griffin. The Queen of Australia, there's no such legal title or lawful, there's no such title. It's supposed to be Queen Victoria and her heirs and successors. Anyway, that's half my rant for the day. I'll probably be back later. Actually, I will be back later because I'm going to upload the video of my assault from the police. I don't care what they think or say about it. I really don't. They can come after me all they like. They're only going to martyr me. They're only got... Whatever they do to me is a small price to pay to get people to sit up and take notice, as far as I'm concerned. I've been emailing politicians and senators from both sides all over the country today. I will be heard. And so should you be. It's your right.